gamers, and welcome back to another adventure. We are going all the way back to the year 2000 to kick this one off. We've got a franchise playthrough up ahead for you because it was time for Deus Ex. Deus Ex that I had been plagued by for years and years as this game is awesome, and all the other ones came out. Mankind Divided, Human Revolution, all these games everybody was playing, and I was busy playing WoW, and so didn't have time for any of those things, and now it was time for me to sink my teeth in, and boy am I glad I did, because I did not know what this game was. I'm pretty good, man. Keeping myself in the dark on games I'm probably going to play. Of course, I've seen trailers and things like that, but what the actual game is, I don't know. And I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, pretty much thought it was GoldenEye, because it came out in that era where GoldenEye was overwhelmingly popular, and then we had Perfect Dark, which was also a spy shooty game on the Nintendo 64, and I was like, oh, it's like the PC equivalent of those games, because they're very, very popular, and that's what it is, and it spawned its whole thing, and I was like, cool, so I get it. It's going to be kind of linear, sent out on missions as a spy, shooty, some gadgets and things like that, and go along the way. That's not what this game is, and in fact, what it is is really interesting to me, because I have never heard the phrase immersive sim in my life. Immersive sim. It's its own genre. It's its own... No, it's not. It's an RPG. It's an FPS RPG, which we've had a billion of, and that's exactly what it is. And I don't know where this immersive sim... I assume it was part of the marketing for Deus Ex, but that's what it is, and that's what it turned out to be, because immediately... Now, a few things, because things are going to probably look... If you've played Deus Ex, this will look different to you. Let me explain why. The original Deus Ex, even though it's purchasable on Steam as the Anniversary Mega Edition, whatever you want to call it, does not run well. Doesn't even go past 1280 by 720 on the resolution. It will full screen, but it's really grim looking and bad. And I was like, oh no, this isn't going to work. However, the Steam community has come up with the Revision mod, which is a public community thing on Steam. 2 seconds to download, and that makes it into 4K, smooths things out, still looks old school, but one of the things it does do, and I think you have the option to disable this, is it reworks the level design to be more modernish, I guess, and a bit more it's like built upon it. So I imagine the original Deus Ex was slightly more compact, which fits with the time, the year 2000, but this is a little vaster from what I could tell, because NPCs are in different places, items are in different places. Gives the game kind of a new lease on life, essentially. But that is what my first experience will be, which is why you're going to see a female JC, which I didn't know was part of the mod. I thought this was just a character select screen, like you would ordinarily get in any video game. It is not. I just went with the female because I usually play a female in video games. And then I got to choose my abilities, which were really weird, ranging from pistols and rifles, no duh, lockpicking, of course, engineering, computers, and swimming. Swimming. Okay. So I decided, obviously with no prior game knowledge, I was like, lockpicking, pretty good. We'll go with lockpicking. Heavy weapons, I like big heavy weapons, sure. We'll go with that. Pistols, seems pretty good. We'll do that. And I think I got electronics or something along those lines, or computers or something, because it sounded interesting. And that's what we got started with. Oh boy, we're playing on hard mode. They're not joking. Legs. Let's talk about legs. Aren't they fun? Here's mine. Look, I've got them. They're great. Look at these. I can walk around with them. I can ambulate across the land wearing my legs. But in Deus Ex, I also guess this was part of the twist on the genre in some ways. Real life limb reactions. Because if you get hit in the arm, and you'll see this like green body in the top left of the screen, get like hit in the arm, your aiming will be slightly more difficult. But nobody aims for the arms or the chest. If you get hit in the head, you die immediately. It's like a one-shot. They all go for your legs constantly. And here's the fun thing about that, is when your legs are destroyed, even though your health is pretty good, you cannot stand up anymore. You crawl on your belly until you find some way of healing. They don't regenerate or anything like that. You just crawl. And boy, was I crawling a big time, because I cannot keep, no matter what I'm doing, my legs from snapping and breaking into two the second somebody looks at me. I will go out of my way to prevent this, and it will not happen. It takes one gunshot to wipe out both my legs, and I end up crawling. That is going to come into play. As for the story, I'm not super sure what's going on, because there was definitely sound issues at the start of the game. But I've got a general gist of it. There is a plague called the Grey Death that seems to be man-made, maybe. It's either located directly in New York or the entire world. And there is a vaccine produced by one company only called Ambrosia that is kind of being kept out of the public eye that it exists because they're distributing it to the rich and powerful first, your presidents and what have you, before they distribute it to the general public. Sound familiar? I bet it does. I imagine if that was to really happen. Tee-hee. They predicted it all the way back then. And the public is dying. The public is dying, and in the wake of this happening and information about Ambrosia getting out has given rise to civilian rebellion called the NSF. And the rebellion is anti-capitalist, anti-anything to do with not distributing the ambrosia fairly because people are dying and the poor are getting trodden on as per usual. Now, the twist on this is they're kind of still thugs as well. They'll call you fascist because you work for UNESCO, which is a paramilitary organization on behalf of the government, the US government, that is tasked with fighting back against this NSF and trying to secure the ambrosia. You're like the team that is in charge of ambrosia safe travel, so to speak. And of course, the NSF have captured a shipment of it, and your job is to get this back because it's kind of important. It's supposed to go to the big rich people, and the rich people aren't happy that they're potentially going to get the Grey Death. So that's your job. So everybody kind of sucks here. The NSF suck because, yes, they have a righteous cause, but very true to life, a lot of them have gone off book and are just bullying, basically taking the stance of if you're not with us, you're against us, and are also killing civilians that aren't part of the NSF. They're like taking over city blocks. In this case, it's New York, and they're trying to, they're armed and dangerous, and they're basically just trying to secure, like, they've started their own war with people caught in the middle, just being in the crossfire because you're not part of the team. So everybody, I'm pretty sure I work for the bad guys. But the NSF aren't exactly squeaky clean by any means, at least so far, because I suspect there'll be some story twist in the future to go along with this. And my first mission was actually at the Statue of Liberty, where the game really showed me that everything I predicted this game would be was woefully incorrect. Woefully incorrect. I went in guns akimbo, my friend. I wanted to paint the walls like a Jackson Pollock, because I played Skyrim recently where I didn't murder hobo anybody, and I had some pent-up aggression. That was a bad idea. Like, really bad, because like it turns out I die in like 3 hits. And stealth is not my forte. I will do most things to get away from doing stealth. And that led to me just dying a lot. A hell of a lot. A lot. Especially trying to figure out like hacking and how security terminals work and cameras and the turrets that correspond with them. And the biggest thing, I would genuinely hope some of you would watch the VOD of just day one. Doesn't matter if you watch anything else, but the VOD of day one, if Bex can link it down below. Because there was a charm in Skyrim, right? And it was the jankiness. This game is jank to the max. There are decisions made here that if a company was to do in the 2010s, it would be laughed at. Hardcore. But because it's an older game, it gets away with it. And at the time, it probably got away with it too. And this game's remembered very fondly. But good God. The idea that your pistol reticle, even with 2 levels of training, does not actually close in on the target for 12 seconds, if not 15, is insanity. Insanity. And I have had regular moments of having my crosshair right over the target, and I am unloading clips at them, and the bullets literally draw an outline around the person, and then they kill you. And it's like, what is happening here? They have like these bizarre hitboxes on the enemies, and sometimes you'll shoot clearly not aiming at them, and it will blatantly hit them. And it's hitting them because you're not shooting where you're shooting, and you're wildly missing, and that's hitting them. And you just get these bizarre moments. And I have set off rockets in people's faces and had the guys in the room either blatantly ignore it or just say, It's probably the wind. And just walk away around all the corpses and things like that. It's such early AI tech. It's hilarious. And it's so fun. It really is. Frustrating as hell, but in a fun way. Of like, okay, it's that fun of like, how do I circumnavigate this jank? And there's a payoff if we do it. And it's so fun. It is really, really fun. I've banged my desk. I have grimaced. I have just been like, how is this possibly happening? But at the same time, I'm pushing on because I will not let it beat me. There's almost like a Monster Hunter vibe to it. It's like, I will not let this beat me, even though it's so stupid. I will not let it beat me. This led, as I said, I think you should watch the VOD of this, but I want to tell you a little story about old school level design and how it played into possibly the most tumultuous, torturous couple of hours of my life. And it happened in Deus Ex Day 1. Any of you have ever played Duke Nukem 3D? Not Duke Nukem Forever, Duke Nukem 3D, the original one that was all the way back when. I'm not even sure, early 1990s maybe. And a lot of people have played it for retro fun, and it still gets featured at lots of speedrunning events. We'll remember what I'm talking about here with really old school ideas of level design, especially when they tried to make reasonably intricate maps, but also try and prevent the player from getting lost in some way, because they have maps in the game, but they're really shoddily done JPEGs that you can't interact with really in a reasonable way. And it's not useful at all. I had a mission to go into New York City. And this was great because this was the opening up of side quests, just how many different pathways and routes you can take to solve any mission. It's incredible. It's honestly just, for the time, I have no surprise as to how fondly this game is remembered, because you can play this game in 1,000 different ways. And that's really, really fun. It kind of suits all those play styles. And you get a bunch of side quests and stuff, and interesting ones. There's hidden things going on within the city. There's smugglers. There's things going on in hotel rooms. There's dads whose daughters have run away. All these kind of things are happening along with your primary objective. Cool. So I did a lot of them and was just working my way through the level, essentially, just exploring, digging into this hole, this hole, this hole. And I ended up somewhat accidentally at the primary mission objective, which was to disable a power plant. And I did that. And then the mission was like, you're done. And a helicopter landed right in front of me. This is not what happened at Statue of Liberty. At Statue of Liberty, the helicopter came where it dropped me off. And I kind of thought maybe that's what happens. You work your way back. And so I was at the top of this roof on this building, and a helicopter arrived. It's like, you can leave now. But I still had a quest I wanted to do, which was that the father had lost the daughter, and she had been seen going into an alleyway with a rough dude named Johnny. And I was like, I want to put a bullet in Johnny's head, baby, because he's probably abusing that girl, given the tone of this quest line. So I was like, I want to sort that out. So I'm going to go back and do that before we leave. Those of you who play Duke Nukem will remember that they would have you sort of move to a part of the map that was then impossible to return to the way you started. And the idea was that we don't want you to be able to walk back for 20 minutes the wrong way. So what we'll do is we will create a physical barrier to prevent you from doing that. A building will collapse. There'll be some sort of mini in-game cutscene type event. And now you're segmented off from where you started so that you know, oh, I shouldn't go back there. I should be going a different way. In theory, that makes sense. Doesn't make sense when you have multiple mini objectives that you might want to go back to the city to do. It doesn't work then. So in order to access this area of the map where the power plant was, you had to go across rooftops, which was very easy and simple and linear in its pathways to get there. It turns out there's no way back. They've locked it off. How, you might ask? Oh, let me tell you. Let me tell you how they did it. So there's a huge map where this power plant is with sewers, underground laboratories. Got to be a way back to the main city from here. Nope. And I was like, okay, I've got to find a way. Oh, I found this. I was kind of excited at first. There's tunnels with like turrets in, which were eventually chipping away at my health, causing me problems, all these kinds of things. And I ended up in a situation where my legs were essentially destroyed, of course. And I was like, how do we get back? And I was like, we must have to go back over the rooftops. because we've had to go over the roofs to drop down here, so we have to go back. Well, well. I fought all the way back. I think I played for like half an hour, 40 minutes in some of the worst dire straits situations I've been in, such as being, in essence, soft-locked multiple times to progress, and then having to figure things out, like learn swimming to get out of places, right? To try and get around the barriers that have been put in front of me, because I couldn't go back because I would get shot. I couldn't go forwards. I did so many things, and then ended up right back in the building with the power plant. I was like, okay, we have to go back over the rooftops. So I follow the ladder, and sure enough, there's a ladder that starts going back over. I was like, oh, good, this is the way. And then I see another ladder that goes up from there. And then I see another ladder. And then I reach the unreachable ladder. Now, here's the hilarious thing about this. Is not only have they made it so... Look, man, you are an augmented cyborg super soldier type person. You cannot jump over your own shoes. You cannot swim for longer than 30 seconds. Like, you are the most defective... serial poor ass Atari 500 character you've ever seen. Like, the fact that you can upgrade your cyborg augments 4 times for strength, which allows you to lift an extra 20 kilos. I don't know how many of you know how much 20 kilos is. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. You put some gains in, you'll get there pretty goddamn quick to get 20, 40, 60. To give you context, I bench press about 100 kilos for reps, right? 5x that. And this super soldier augmented warrior cannot lift a cardboard box if there happens to be a tiny mouse-sized cardboard box on top of it. It's too heavy. Can't be moved. It's so weird. It's so bizarre. Either way. I'm looking at this ladder, which is it's in line with my face, essentially, and I can't get to it. There's nothing I can do. But they've put a chair nearby, so I'm like, okay. So we put the chair here, we jump on the chair, and we get onto the ladder, right? That's how we'll do it. No, that's not how you do it. Why? Because the chair is not a chair, as we would think of it in any sort of modern game. It's not a modern game, I accept that. It's, in fact, a tower hitbox that extends probably a meter above the chair and is like cubic in nature. So you jump at the chair and you just bounce off an invisible tower, essentially. It's like, why would you do this? I then think, oh, maybe I go and get another box from somewhere else. Nope, can't throw the box upwards. Doesn't allow you to do that. And you can't climb a ladder with a cardboard box in hand. Impossible. Impossible. So now I've been another half an hour and I'm like, there's got to be a way to get through here. And then somebody pointed out, is like, there is a part of the fence that's glitchy that if you do some sort of quick save scumming, you can get through. I was like, look, if that's the case, we're not doing it. I'll just leave the quest. But I'm very stubborn, guys. I've always been very stubborn, and I'm so close. I'm so desperately close. And so, an idea was hatched, and somebody in the chat leaked that you could do something. And immediately as it happened, my chat responded by hiding the message, but I saw it because I see everything. Grenades. Grenades you can attach to walls, and they have a hitbox. You can stand on them. And if you've got a couple of grenades, you can go up a couple of feet because you can't jump. Augmented super soldier. Land on a grenade, reach down, pick the one up from underneath, move it up a couple of yards again, and hop up the wall. Grenade hop up the wall. And so I did it. I did it. And I got up to that ladder. And I thought I was Andy Dufresne coming out of that sewage pipe in the Shawshank Redemption. I was bathed in the light of freedom, only to discover that it was about to happen to me again on a wall that was 10 times larger. Because they had done these, I'm not sure what to call them. They're like fire escapes, I think. They're very prominent in Manhattan, apparently. I've never been to Manhattan. Where they're on the side of buildings. They're like these metal walkways with like metallic ladders. And then there's like a dangly ladder at the bottom for escape during fires. Fire escape. And so I was like, I've got the solution. I was like, are we really going to do this? Because it's going to take ages. And I grenade hopped up that wall. A long goddamn way. to get to freedom, to get that sweet, sweet breath of freedom. And I got there. And I got there, my friends, only to have a sniper shoot me from across the wall from miles away and break both my legs. Meaning that I had to then crawl all the way down the roofs, all the way back to the city with one arm, because my other arm was broken, like crawling like some sort of demented android in an Aliens movie, just scraping my fingernails across the floor as I made it back there. All in all, this was like an hour and a half, 2 hours of just getting back there. But god damn it, did I make it. God damn it, did I make it. And I'm so glad I did, because the guy was a pimp. He was trying to sell out this guy's daughter. Killed him, which then led to a whole other storyline with someone called the Smuggler, who's got an underground area where he's got all sorts of missions and stuff for us to do, to work through there and go and rescue somebody in a sewage laboratory, which is where I'm up to. Needless to say, I'm having a great time. I'm having a really good time. Like, the jank appeals to me. I don't know what it is, but like trying to outthink the jank excites me in a big way. And that's where we are. That's where we are. Deus Ex. There's some story going on with our brother or whatever, but who cares? Because my legs are broken. I'm trapped in a sewer. And I think I have to do the sewers hitless, because there's no way of me healing myself without giving up like 50% of the wealth I've collected so far. And there's things I need to buy. So I can't heal myself either. I think I'm just going to have to drink endless amounts of alcohol and soda and potato chips, which are the best healing source I've found so far. Besides medkits, which are few and far between. And that's where I'm at. This is going to be, check the day one VOD. It's just manic. It's chaos. Have fun. Bye, guys.